Hi, it's Stephen here from Sound of an Ocean Wave, and this is day 24 of the December daily draws. So let's see what message we get today, and I'll be taking the first card from the Seasons of the Witch Winter Tarot, followed by an Oracle card from the Seasons of the Witch Yule Oracle. So let's use our first card and get the reading underway. And of course, being the 24th, it's Christmas Eve, so anyone that's celebrating, I hope you have a wonderful holiday time that's enjoyable, safe, and everything you want it to be. Okay, here we go. We have here the winter temperance. We have the temperance card. This is about getting the balance of different things in our lives in harmony together. It's the different aspects flowing together. It's also guarding against excess, focusing on one thing and not enough of something else. Having too much, even too much of a good thing, perhaps. There may be a bit of that going on in the next day or so, with it being Christmas, and that's okay. I don't think temperance would begrudge us a little bit of indulgence at a sort of marking a festival, marking a point on the wheel, a celebration that we're getting together. It's meant to be a feast. We had the feasting card, didn't we, from the Oracle yesterday, and it's about the feasting aspect and marking the time, and that's okay. We are allowed to have a little bit of momentary indulgence, and in and I would say that the temperance card actually says that, because momentary is the word here. A moderate amount of overindulgence. We're just doing it to mark an occasion, the time of year. It's not something that we would necessarily want to be doing all year round, but at special times like this, we can overindulge. If that's what we want, if that's part of the celebration. Of course, then there comes a time then to cease that and go back to a more more balanced way of living. It's all right just for a day or so, to celebrate the holiday season. Yes, we could do that, but often we feel we do sometimes pay the price for it, and I'm not just talking about feeling a little bit sort of like worse for wear. We may feel where we fall asleep because we've eaten that much, and it's and if we drunk a lot, that we can get the effects of, depending what we drink, of course. If it's alcohol, we can get the hangover sort of sensation. We do pay a price for it, and that's the thing. Overindulgence does sometimes comes with a cost, and that's what temperance would say to us. But if it's just a temporary thing, like for a celebration, then it's just part of life. Yes, as long as we understand that there may be that price to pay for the overindulgence, and we accept that, and we factor that into the celebration, then that's fine, because you're factoring it in, you accept it, it's not coming as a surprise to you, but it's part of the enjoyment, to mark the occasion. But because of the after effects and how it may feel, it's not something that you'd want to sustain or should sustain, because it will, if you do this on a regular basis and not just as a special time, it will affect you in an adverse way. So that's what temperance is. It's don't go to the sort of excess. A momentary overindulgence at a time like this could be classed as excess, but it's temporary excess. It's not a day-to-day excess. Sometimes from day to day we focus on just one thing, but one aspect of our lives, but we or one aspect of ourselves, and we neglect others. And if you do that over a long enough period, it will have repercussions. There will be a price to pay. So generally, this card talks about keeping things in moderation, keeping things more balanced, keeping the energy flowing in a way that works for us, a harmonious sort of all the different components of ourselves and our lives working together effectively, and we're taking care of everything. Is what temperance is about. It's finding that equilibrium within us, that sense of harmony. So, but don't let that, you could take that to an extreme and be too rigid in that, in the sense that you deprive yourself of letting your hair down, as they say, at times like this, at Christmas time and at sort of fun festival times. You are allowed to let your hair down and indulge a bit now and again. It's the now and again bit that's the key words there. You know, it's not an habitual thing, but it's now and again to mark an occasion, as I said. So, I'm not doing that because you want to be, you know, you don't want to put a bit of excess in one sense into into your life, even for a moment. I mean, that's your choice. That's fine, but it takes the fun out of life, and you need that balance of fun as well as the serious stuff. You need that time to celebrate and have fun with yourself, with others, to be joyous, to be celebratory. It's an important part of being human, so we can't neglect that either. So it's interesting that this card has come up at this point. So what I would say is, enjoy your celebrations. If you're having some celebrations, if you're having a gathering, or even if you're by yourself, just indulge yourself a little bit, as long as you know that it's only for a time. Just give yourself a little bit extra bit of something, have something nice to eat. You don't have to be fit to busting with what you're eating, but give yourself a treat, something that you wouldn't normally have. Just put a bit of fun and a treat into it, just to give you that feeling that you're celebrating this time of year, and that might lift your spirits as much as it can do. People that perhaps live on their own and don't have anyone, sometimes it can be tough. I get that, and it's not going to necessarily cure the feeling of it, but just a little bit of treating yourself and doing something that you like. Curl up with a good book or something, have a drink at the side of you and something nice to eat. Something like that, just to give you that warm, good feeling that's important to get this time of year. Okay, so let's see which oracle card we get to go with that. Okay, here we go. Falling in love. Could be that some people have an opportunity to fall in love in these gatherings. There may be some romances or strengthening of relationships. It's a relationship with people getting together, sharing of love, enjoying a good time, and feeling, positive, good feelings of love and light and all that kind of thing. As I've just mentioned, some people are on their own and may not have this sort of like, the traditional falling in love kind of scenario. But you can fall in love with, I don't necessarily mean literally fall in love with yourself, but what I mean is give a bit of love and care to yourself. Give yourself some love in the sense of give yourself a treat, something that you wouldn't normally have, something that, nice bit of something to eat that you don't normally eat, but you like, and you or do something that makes you feel good. As I say, it's something that gives you that positive feeling. Give yourself a bit of self-care is another way of looking at this. Maybe it's an opportunity as well to reflect and maybe fall in love with your life path or your spiritual path or something, something that captures your heart and your spirit that maybe you've drifted from, and you may want to fall in love with something or a certain thing again, recapture that love that will you can take you into the new year. But whatever that is, try and give yourself a bit of a boost by whatever means. Yes, we guard against excess, but now and again, particularly at these times, it's okay to be a little bit indulgent. Okay, so that is today's message. I'll be back tomorrow with day 25. Until then, thank you for listening. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you all again very soon. Okay, bye-bye.